Jack Callahan had never been one for surprises. Not since the Corps. Not since the war. He liked things simple. Wake up before dawn, check the fence line, work on the truck, drink until the memories faded into background noise. That was life now. Quiet. Predictable. Then the sky split open. Jack was on his porch when it happened, leaning against the railing with a cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. The Montana night was dark and still, until it wasn't. A fireball tore across the sky, trailing black smoke, something metal and wrong spinning toward the tree line behind his ranch. A few seconds later, two smaller shapes followed, searchlights sweeping the ground, not crashing, hunting. Jack exhaled smoke, watching the streaks of fire vanish beyond the ridge. Didn't concern him. Then he heard the impact, a distant, muffled whoomp that he felt in his ribs. A few seconds later, the circling craft banked low, sweeping across the horizon like vultures. Jack sighed and crushed his cigarette against the porch railing. Shit. He grabbed the shotgun from inside and started walking. The wreckage was still burning when Jack reached it. Something had come down hard, leaving a long gouge in the dirt. Pieces of jagged metal scattered through the trees. Smoke drifted through the night air, thick with the smell of scorched metal and something acrid he couldn't place. And then he saw her. She was humanoid, but not human. Tall, lean, skin just a shade too pale under the blood and grime. Her hair was dark and matted with sweat, pulled back in a tight braid. Her ears were too pointy to be human. Her eyes shone yellow in the night. Yellow. Her uniform, if that's what it was torn and burned, clinging to a body built like a soldier. She staggered forward, one arm wrapped around her ribs. Jack took half a step back, keeping the shotgun loose in his grip. The woman's head snapped up. She froze. For a second, they just stared at each other. Then she spoke. It was fast, urgent, her voice hoarse with pain. Not English. Hell, not even close to English. Not close to Pashto or Dari either. The sounds were sharp, clipped. Jack didn't understand a damn word of it, but he recognized the tone. Someone asking for help. Jack didn't move. "Lady, I don't know what you're saying." She took a shaky step forward, hand still pressed to her ribs. Then she flinched, head snapping toward the sky. Jack heard it too, the whine of engines. The hunters were coming. Jack shifted his grip on the shotgun. "Guess you're not alone, huh?" The woman said something else, urgent, eyes locked onto him. He didn't know what the words meant, but the look in them was clear. "Help me." Jack exhaled slowly. The engines were getting closer, and he glanced at her wound. She was bleeding bad. Didn't concern him, except it did. Jack swore under his breath. "Come on," he muttered, nodding toward the trees. "Move." She didn't understand the words, but she understood the order. She followed. The two ships landed in the clearing a minute later. Jack watched from the tree line, shotgun braced against his shoulder. He could feel the woman behind him, breath shallow but steady. She wasn't panicking. Good. The ships were small, one-man craft built for speed. They hissed as they settled, steam venting from their underbellies. A moment later, the cockpits slid open, and two figures stepped out. They weren't human either. Stocky, broad-shouldered, their armor segmented and sleek. It shimmered with a faint haze. Some sort of shielding, maybe? Jack didn't move. He just watched. One of them scanned the wreckage, then turned toward the trees. He barked something in the same sharp language the woman had used. Then he pulled a weapon from his hip. Jack exhaled. "All right," he muttered. "Your move." The alien took a step forward, then another. He raised his weapon. Jack pulled the trigger. The shotgun roared. The first hunter staggered back as buckshot shredded through his armor, punching through the energy field like it wasn't even there. The second barely had time to react before Jack pumped another round into him. The soft armor wasn't built for this. It might have stopped a plasma bolt, but it wasn't worth shit against lead. The first hunter hit the ground, unmoving. The second twitched, a wet gasping noise coming from under his helmet. Jack ejected the spent shells and chambered two more. Behind him, the woman was staring. Jack tilted his head toward the wreckage. "That was your ride?" She hesitated, then nodded. Jack sighed. "Figures." The second alien let out a final rattling breath and went still. The woman stepped closer, staring down at the bodies. Her gaze flicked to Jack. He could see the question in her eyes. "You killed them?" Jack shrugged. "Yeah." She looked at the bodies again. Then slowly she nodded, a facsimile of a smile appearing.